Have you checked the children? Your little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Robert Duell.
And we are back to review another horror anime series, you guys. We've been on a bit of a kick recently, or at least I have. I watched One Punch Man Season 2, which isn't really horror, but there's tons of monsters. Robert and I and Fuego went through Parasite the Maxim and the live-action movie. We have plans to go through Tokyo Ghoul, if it's good enough, and its live-action movie, as well as a couple of other things. One of the ones I wanted to catch up on that came out just a couple of years ago on Netflix that I heard a lot about is Devilman Crybaby. I had not seen it before, so I figured I'd give it a go. It was only 10 episodes, so it's not the biggest investment. But I gotta say, right up front, since we do our overall thoughts up front, I did not like this series as much as I've liked a lot of others. I was thrown off by it in a few different ways, and it felt like way more of a slog for me to get through than a lot of the other series than I have. So up until the last 3 episodes, I could really only get through like 1 episode a night. I was like, what else is on after each episode? So I don't know. I didn't like it as much as I was hoping I would. We'll break it down more specifically in a minute. But Robert, what were your overall thoughts?
Personally, I remember starting it a few years ago when my buddy told me to watch it and everything. He's like, "Oh, it's brutal. So you dig the hell out of it and everything." I started watching it and I remember why I stopped. Because again, it was like you're saying, it felt it was kind of like a chore getting through, and there were a lot of things that threw me off about this anime, and we'll get into that later and whatnot. But yeah, it's like I don't know, even. I basically kind of forced myself to just binge the show and everything, and like there was even times like I was so disconnected from it. So I guarantee there was definitely some stuff I missed. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it was like overall thoughts. Check it out just for the trippiness and the kind of the semi brutality of it. But honestly, I'm not very wowed at all of it, and I've seen so many better animes than this.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even a whole lot. Like, I watched these animes for the monsters and stuff like that, and there wasn't as much of that as I wanted in this, and it wasn't nearly as well defined as I thought it would be. Like, I thought he was the only Devilman. Suddenly there's more than one. Suddenly there's a whole bunch, and we haven't touched on any of them. And it's like, it feels like a real missed opportunity, like they were just throwing stuff in and not explaining enough of it. So, I mean, the long and short of the story is it's about this guy named Akira, which I can't watch any anime with a main character named Akira and not think of the movie Akira. So, this guy's name is Akira, and he is a crybaby who gets possessed by a demon called Amon. But not fully, I guess, or something. Or Amon's not awake yet fully.
Yeah, he's more dormant and everything, so he comes out during his emotional fits.
Yeah. When he cries and stuff, he becomes the Devilman and can kill bad things. But it doesn't happen nearly enough. The show focuses way more on the teenage life aspect of it, where first off, none of these characters are really made to look like teenagers, and they apparently added this wasn't in the original manga or anime. The track and field part, that wasn't originally part of it, so they just added the running. And the weird thing is, you made the running so freaking weird that you can't get into that. Like, there's this whole subplot about one runner being named Miki and the other one also being named Miki, but because there's already a Miki, she's called Miko, and she wants to be the real Miki. And like, the animation is just so weird when they're running. They're like hunched over and like clawing through the air, and like one girl's tits are just like jiggling all over the place, and it's just so overdone and it's a really hypersexualized show too. Yep. And like, I guess I'm finding out that as I get older, certain over sexualized things make me uncomfortable, and I don't really like watching them that much. And I don't know, maybe I look, I've never been a big hentai guy, so maybe over sexualized Japanese stuff just isn't my thing. But it's just, it didn't. Anyway, so he's the Devilman, and he's trying to balance his life between being Devilman and being a high school student, and then the stakes raised dramatically in the last 3 episodes. And I actually will say that the last 3 episodes made me overall like the series because it went so crazy. And like at one point, Satan, right, the big bad, as ultimately ends up kind of being Satan. He's sitting there talking to someone, and then there's a reveal at the end of the conversation, and I was like, oh man, like, so I really liked a lot of what they did in the last 3 episodes, but it was like walking 30 miles through snow without snowshoes to get there for me. Like, I really just wasn't a big fan of how the story played out. What about you, Robert?
No, I definitely agree. There was a lot of things that they could have actually removed, and hell, this, in retrospect, this could have been a 5-episode series and would have been way better.
Yeah, lean and mean.
Yep. And like, I definitely agree. Between like the last 3 to 4 episodes was really the only biggest and most important thing to pertain to even the story.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest issue was the animation. It was just too flat. There was no real depth, detail, contrast with anything. It was basically like Paper Mario.
I can see that.
Then it really bugged me, like, because like don't get me wrong, there was actually some scenes that looked kind of nice, like they were really pretty, like there are a couple club scenes and everything where everyone turns into like an acid trip in a sense, like that was kind of cool, but the design of the demons, that was boring.
Yeah,
I honestly I didn't like them at all, and they weren't scary. I didn't like the design of Devilman. I think actually was the coolest part of this anime.
And we didn't even see him that much.
No, we really didn't. And that's actually the sad thing. Like, we saw like silhouette kind of shots of the full Devilman and everything like that. But other than that, we basically just get his in between.
Well, sometimes when he first transforms, they'll do the whole body, Devilman! And then they'll cut away and they won't show him fully after that. And he'll be hidden in darkness as he kills everything. They don't even really let you see the violence that he's committing. It happens so fast and so kind of nonsensically that it's not that fun to watch. It's definitely not as fun as Parasite was. And they had flailing tentacles that you couldn't even see, and it was more fun to watch than this.
No, I definitely agree with you on that one. And like, but again, I think the biggest issue with just even getting the interest in it is personally the animation. You don't like the animation, you're not going to like anything really much what else goes on. What I noticed though is like on the last few episodes, like they did kind of add in a little bit extra details onto the characters, and I think that partially saved it a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think maybe so, but the animation, I agree with you, is just kind of subpar. Look, I can't say it's subpar. Some people will be like, the animation's awesome. Like, it's just, it wasn't for me. Whatever they were doing, it wasn't for me. It didn't feel like, it felt lively enough, I guess, but it didn't feel, like you said, it didn't feel really deep enough. It didn't feel like there was enough to the world. Like, I don't remember a whole lot of establishing shots, so to speak, where there's a bunch of the world shown. You know what I mean? It's just characters on blank backgrounds a lot of the times, and that's not interesting. You know, it's not visually interesting. So yeah, I agree. The animation is not that fun, and I gotta be honest with you, the voice acting is not that great either. The main character is whiny as all hell the entire time. I get it, he's supposed to be a crybaby, but Jesus, that doesn't mean I have to be annoyed by him because of it.
Did you watch the dubbed or subtitled?
I watched dubbed.
Oh, okay, that's probably why.
Yeah.
I didn't end up watching that one again just because the 9 out of 10 times the American voices ruined those characters for me.
Well, how was it subtitled then?
They actually weren't bad, honestly.
Okay.
They sound a lot more effective. You can actually hear a little bit more of the emotion, the anger in the voices, especially when he comes back after that big fight to save everybody and whatnot. Like you could hear it in him, and it played better with the animation for what they had. Again,
Okay.
more detail on that would have worked so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a weird mixed bag, you guys. I mean, there's some aspects that are cool, but really, ultimately, there's more that was either weird or disappointing that was bringing me out of it, because I'm like, this is just so weird, and that's not good. You know, you don't want that. You want to be invested, and I just wasn't. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt if you want to watch it. Give it a try, you know, maybe the first episode or two. If you don't like the vibe, bail, because it doesn't get much better. Or if you just want to watch the last 3 episodes, I truly maintain that you can get the whole thing by just the last 3 episodes, and you'll get an interesting, because you can't do any more Devilman Crybaby after this story. So watch those last 3 episodes, because it's pretty final, and it's pretty cool how they do it. And it's like, well, at least no one else has done that. So if you're gonna try it and you don't want to waste a bunch of time, just go for the last 3. So, any final thoughts on it, Robert?
No, basically, I was about to say actually the same thing. It's like, yeah, get like at least like the first 2 episodes, so you get the basis of them, and then jump to like the last 3, 4, and then you're literally gonna have the entire story.
Yeah,
and it'll be a better anime for you in the end, honestly.
Yeah, you won't be as frustrated.
Yep.
So there you go, guys. I think that's going to do it for our review of Devilman Crybaby, still currently available on Netflix. Let us know in the comments down below if you've watched it, if you liked it more than us. Hey, look, art is subjective. It's possible. You guys might like it more than us. Explain why. Tell us why you like the things that we didn't, or tell us why you weren't fans as well. Let us know any of those thoughts in those comments down below. Until next time, you guys, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Robert Duell.
And remember, stay scared and quarantined.
Stay scared. Be safe.